My name is Daniel Harper. I've worked as a correctional officer at Holloway State Prison in North Carolina for a little over 7 years. The pay isn't great, but it covers the bills, and honestly, the job was predictable. That's what I liked about it. At least, it used to be predictable. Holloway is a mid-level security prison, about an hour outside Raleigh. It's not one of those nightmare facilities you see on documentaries. No gang riots, no constant fights. Most days my job was just walking the tiers, logging head counts, and writing incident reports when inmates mouthed off or refused orders. It was routine, safe. But my last night on shift changed the way I see everything. It was a Thursday night, late July. I was covering the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. graveyard shift, the kind of shift where the prison feels less like a correctional facility and more like an abandoned warehouse. The lights hum constantly. The AC rattles in the vents. Doors clang shut somewhere far away, even when nobody's there. That's normal. You get used to it. Around 11:30 p.m., my supervisor, Sergeant Miller, told me to start my rounds on Block C. It's an older wing of the prison, 6 tiers high, each with about 20 cells. Most of the inmates there are long-timers, guys who keep to themselves. I clipped my radio to my vest, signed the logbook, and headed into Block C. By midnight, I was on the 2nd tier, walking past cell 14, when I noticed something strange. The light above the cell was off. That's against policy. Lights in every occupied cell stay on all night for security reasons. I checked my tablet. According to the roster, cell 14 was empty. But when I glanced inside, I swear I saw someone sitting on the lower bunk. I stepped closer, shined my flashlight in, and the bunk was empty. I told myself I was just tired, logged light out in 14 on my tablet, and kept moving. When I got back to the control room around 1:25 p.m., I mentioned the dead light to the officer on duty, Ramirez. He pulled up the Block C feed to log a maintenance ticket. But when the cameras came up, I froze. Cell 14, the supposedly empty cell, showed a man sitting on the lower bunk, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. "Wait," Ramirez said, frowning at the screen. "Nobody's assigned there, right?" I replied, "Roster says empty." He zoomed the camera in. The guy had short gray hair and an orange jumpsuit, no ID number on the chest. That's not possible. Every uniform has an ID. I grabbed the radio and called Miller. "Sergeant, we've got a problem in Block C. Cell 14 shows occupied, but roster says it's empty." There was a pause. Then Miller came back, his voice tight. "Stay put. I'll handle it." 5 minutes later, Miller joined me and Ramirez in the control room. He glanced at the monitor, then looked at me. "Harper, go down there and check the cell again." I hesitated. "Sir, I already did. It was empty." He stared at me for a moment before repeating, "Go check." So I went. The walk back to Block C felt longer this time. When I opened the gate, the wing was dead silent. Usually, there's at least some noise, snoring, talking, someone banging on the bars. Tonight, nothing. I climbed to the 2nd tier, heart pounding harder than I wanted to admit. I stopped in front of cell 14. Flashlight on, deep breath. The cell was empty. I stepped inside just to be sure. The bunk was made, the toilet clean, no personal belongings, no inmate. I keyed my radio. "Control, cell 14 is empty." Ramirez's voice came back, shaky. Harper, look at the camera." I froze. "Look at the what?" "The camera feed," he said. "It still shows someone sitting on the bunk." I jogged back to the control room. When I got there, Ramirez had gone pale. The man on the monitor was still there, sitting motionless, head down, hands clasped. I walked straight to the console and replayed the feed from 5 minutes earlier, when I was inside the cell. On the video, you can see me standing in the doorway with my flashlight. but there's also a man sitting on the bunk. I swear to God, I was standing 2 feet away from him in real life, and there was nobody there. Miller cursed under his breath and ordered Ramirez to lock the feed and export the footage. But when Ramirez tried, the file disappeared. The screen blinked once, and then Cell 14's feed went black. At 1:30 a.m., Miller got a call on his desk phone. He put it on speaker. It was the warden, Mr. Kane. His voice was calm. Too calm. Shut down Block C for the rest of the shift. No movement, no rounds. Do not, under any circumstances, open Cell 14. Miller asked why. He paused before answering. Because Cell 14 doesn't exist. Then the line went dead. By 3 a.m., I'd had enough. I told Miller I was heading home sick, but when I tried to badge out through the main gate, my access was denied. Ramirez tried his card. Same thing. The system thought we weren't even in the building. We called Central Security, but their logs showed our IDs had been inactive since 10:03 p.m., the minute I started my shift. According to their system, none of us were on site. From 3:30 to 5 a.m., we stayed locked in the control room, barely talking. The cameras kept glitching. Random cells would show movement, but when we checked physically, they were empty. At 4:12 a.m., Cell 14's feed came back online. The man on the bunk was standing now, facing the camera. His head was tilted, eyes just barely visible, under the shadow. Ramirez swore and shut the monitor off. We waited for morning. When relief officers came in at 6 a.m., everything seemed normal. The lights worked, the badges scanned fine. I checked the Block C roster again. Cell 14 wasn't listed anymore. The numbering skipped from 13 to 15. When I asked about it, Miller told me not to mention it again. Ramirez transferred to another facility 2 weeks later. I put in my resignation a month after that. That was 9 months ago. Sometimes I still dream about Holloway. In the dream, I'm walking down Block C, and the lights are flickering. I hear my own voice over the radio, but I'm not holding it. I keep a copy of the old roster on my phone. It still shows Cell 14 listed as empty. But last week, I got an email from an anonymous address. No subject, no body, just one attachment. A screenshot from Holloway's security feed. It was Cell 14, and I was sitting on the bunk.
My name's Daniel Brooks. I'm 32. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I was released from Franklin Correctional Facility last Tuesday. 7 years locked up for something stupid. Bar fight. Guy broke his jaw. I did my time. I kept my head down. Since I got out, I've been trying to start over. Got a job interview at Walmart, updated my Facebook, called my mom. Normal stuff. I thought I could finally have a regular life. Then today, something happened that I can't explain. I checked my mailbox this morning. There was an envelope from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. No return address, just my name printed in bold letters. Inside was a plastic card, an inmate ID. My photo, my name, same DOC number I had before, except the admission date said September 4, 2025. Today. The release date was blank. I thought it had to be a mistake. I called my parole officer, Tanya. Hey Tanya, it's Daniel. I got something weird in the mail. What is it? An inmate ID with today's date. She was quiet. Then she said, Daniel, that's not possible. Your file was closed last week. There's nothing in the system for you. I'm looking at it right now, I said. Bring it here tomorrow, she said. I'll check it. The rest of the day, I couldn't focus. I kept looking at the card, turning it over and over. I compared it to my old one. Same logo, same barcode, same everything. Except this one was brand new, like it had never been touched. Around 4 p.m., I scanned the barcode with my phone. It pulled up a link to the inmate database. My profile came up. Status: active. Location: Franklin Correctional Facility. Admission: September 4, 2025. Serving: indefinite sentence. I called Tanya again. No answer. I called 3 more times, straight to voicemail. I decided to drive down to Franklin myself. The guard at the front desk looked at me and then at the screen. He said, "You're not supposed to be out here." "I was released last week," I said, holding up my papers, signed, stamped, everything. He glanced at the papers, then back at the monitor. "Sir, according to our system, you're still inside." I laughed nervously. "Do I look like I'm inside?" He didn't laugh. He told me to wait. A supervisor came out a few minutes later, an older guy named Harris. He looked at my face, then at the ID I brought, and his expression went completely blank. "Who gave you this?" he asked. "It came in the mail," I said. He took it without another word and disappeared into the back. I waited almost 30 minutes. When he came back, he didn't have the card anymore. "We'll look into it," he said. "Go home. Don't worry about it." But his tone didn't sound reassuring. He sounded afraid. That night, I logged on to the Ohio inmate search portal from my laptop. My profile was still there, but something had changed. There was a mugshot I'd never seen before. Same orange jumpsuit, same background. But my face looked older, tired, eyes hollow like I hadn't slept in weeks. The timestamp on the photo? Taken today, 3:42 p.m., exactly when I was sitting in the lobby of the prison. I checked my phone. Everything seemed normal. Calls, messages, notifications. But at 2 a.m., I got a notification from an app I didn't recognize. "Your schedule has been updated." I opened it. It showed my name, my photo, my location, Franklin Correctional Facility. It also said, "Report to your cell at 8 a.m. I live in an apartment 2 hours away. I tried to call my mom, my friends, my parole officer. No one answered. I sent messages, no replies. I even checked Facebook and Instagram. My profiles are active, posts from my friends, messages from people I know, but every notification felt off, like they were aware of something I wasn't. By morning, I was exhausted. I didn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I drove to a coffee shop and sat with my laptop, trying to track anything about my DOC number. The inmate search portal now showed a daily activity log, and under activity, there were entries for actions I never did. At 8:15, inmate accounted for in cell block B. At 9:30, attended work detail. At 11 a.m., phone privileges used. I didn't do any of that. I wasn't even at the prison. I called Tanya again. Finally, she answered. Her voice was quiet, almost whispering. "Daniel, just stay calm. We're looking into it. Don't leave your apartment." "I can't," I said. "They're tracking me. Someone made me exist there. Today." "Daniel, we'll figure it out, I promise." I didn't feel promised. I decided to check the security cameras in my building. Maybe there was a glitch. Maybe someone was messing with me. The footage was normal. Me entering my apartment, making coffee, leaving for the store. Nothing unusual. But when I checked the timestamp, there was a brief black frame at 3:42 p.m., exactly when my mugshot had been taken at the prison. I went to bed around 5 a.m., exhausted, but I kept waking up to notifications, emails, alerts from apps I didn't recognize. Every time I opened one, it was instructions, confirmations, something showing I was still in the system. I tried calling the DOC, the police, even 911. Everyone said my file was clear, that I was free. Yet, the ID exists. My profile exists. My face exists in the prison system today. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who is doing this. A glitch? A hacker? Someone inside the prison? Or is someone outside trying to control me? I've checked my phone, my laptop, my mail. Everything points to one thing. According to someone, somewhere, I'm still a prisoner. I can't explain it, and no one will tell me why. I'm just waiting, hoping that when I wake up tomorrow, it's gone. But deep down, I know it won't be.
My name's Marcus Hill. I'm 28 and I live in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been in Lakeview Correctional Facility for a little over a year. Not for anything major, petty theft, a stupid mistake, but I've been keeping my head down, following the rules, staying out of trouble. Then, the weird thing started. It began about 2 months ago. Every night, right at 3 a.m., the lock on my cell door would click. Just one click, like someone was unlocking it. Then nothing. No one would enter, no guards would come, but the click was unmistakable. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Stress, lack of sleep, maybe even paranoia. But after a week, I realized it wasn't in my head. I started keeping a small notebook under my pillow. Every night at 3 a.m., click. Every night, without fail. I told my cellmate, Jared, "Man, you hear that too?" I whispered one night. Jared shrugged. "Locks click, man. Old prison doors. Don't sweat it." I wanted to believe him. I really did. But one night, I stayed up, eyes glued to the door. 3 o'clock, on the dot. Click. The handle moved slightly, like someone twisted it. Then it stopped. No footsteps, no shadows, nothing. I started asking around. Other inmates? No one heard anything. Guards? No one admits ever unlocking my door at night. I even asked the night supervisor, Officer Kane. "Marcus, locks click. Old building. You worried too much." But I couldn't shake the feeling something was off. Then it escalated. It wasn't just the door. Items in my cell began to move. Nothing big. My pillow slightly off the bed. My notebook flipped open to a page I hadn't written yet. My cup of water moved a few inches. At first, I blame myself, maybe sleepwalking. But I don't sleepwalk, never have. One night, I woke up sweating. The clock read 3:02 a.m. I saw someone or something standing in the corner of my cell. I froze. They didn't move, didn't speak. Then, before I could even blink, they were gone. I started documenting everything. My notebook filled with times, dates, descriptions. I checked the security cameras in the hallway outside my cell during the day. Nothing unusual. No one enters my cell at night. The cameras never lie. I even started talking to the guards during the day. "Are you messing with me?" I asked one afternoon. They all laughed. "We don't touch your cell at night, Marcus. Don't know what you're talking about." But the clicks kept coming. Every night, 3 a.m. sharp. I tried staying awake, sat in the corner of my cell, flashlight on. Sometimes I heard whispers, faint, almost like someone was talking right behind my ears, but no one was there. I started recording the sounds with my phone, which I hide carefully. Playback was weird, mostly silence, but sometimes a faint voice, almost a whisper. "Marcus." I stopped showing the recordings to anyone. They'd call me crazy. And I'm not crazy. I know what I hear. I know what I see. I asked Jared if he noticed anything strange. He shook his head. Nothing. I started wondering, maybe it's someone who knows the security system better than anyone. Someone could be in the control room, moving doors, messing with me for fun. But why me? The guards never change shifts exactly at 3 a.m., and supervisors say no one ever enters cells at night. Yet every night, click. One night, I tried leaving a small note on my door. "I know someone's unlocking this. Stop." The next morning, the note was gone. My pen was gone too. I started questioning myself. Maybe I imagined the note disappearing. Maybe my notebook entries were wrong. But I double-checked everything during the day. My notebook was intact. The missing note? Real. Then last week it got worse. I woke up at 3 a.m. again. Click. The door moved. I grabbed my flashlight. The door swung open slowly. I saw someone enter. A man. Face covered, gloves, didn't speak. He walked straight to my bed, reached down, and touched my notebook. Then he left. I wanted to scream. I couldn't. I was frozen. The next morning, I asked the guards, "Did anyone come in last night?" "Nope," Officer Kane said. "No one." I showed him my notebook. The page that was touched had smudges. Someone flipped it. I started hiding my belongings, chaining my water cup to the bedpost with string, locking my notebook in the tiny locker. Nothing worked. Every night, click. The notebook moved. My pen disappeared. Even my shoes sometimes were slightly off their place. I stopped telling anyone. I don't want to be transferred. Don't want to be called crazy. Tonight I'm writing this in the library before lockup. Tomorrow will be another 3 a.m. I'm sure of it. I don't know what's real anymore. Every sound is suspicious. Every shadow feels alive. I've started thinking someone is watching me. Someone knows everything I do. Someone has access I can't understand. I don't know who. I don't know why. All I know is the door clicks every night at 3 a.m. sharp, and no one ever admits doing it.